Hello, hello, hello. We're going live in just a couple of seconds. Thank you for joining me. I'm just making sure that everything is set up so I don't have a repeat of the first time and the second time of doing this series. Okay, I think I'm ready to go. Hello, 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 and thank you for joining me for this three-part series that I'm calling Three Keys to Long Lasting Love. And I just want to check one more thing just to make sure that everything is okay. Excuse me, and I think it is. Okay, so three keys to long lasting love. You know, this series, this topic, any topic about lasting love and how to thrive in love, marriage, and life is something that I absolutely enjoy talking about. And you'll find out why in just a second. Because this whole thing about um, people being in relationship, I've been doing this work for a very, very long time. And many people in my personal life, as well as in my professional life, in terms of couples that I've been working with over the years, many of them are together, and many have been together for a long time. And some of them, even though they have a long term relationship, often they find themselves in a state of just surviving. For them, surviving is just the norm. And there are others who are in relationships that really thrive. I mean, they're on the same page, they have each other's back, they have joint goals, which what I talked about the first time. Um, they're communicating in a way that they're connecting at a deep level. So there are couples who have that. For other couples, thriving like that is a dream. And then there are many other couples who are somewhere in between. And so for me, sharing these keys, because there's a lot of them, um, sharing these keys just gives ideas, food for thought uh, to couples to think about what they can do differently so that they can go to the next level wherever they are right now. You know, when I look at thriving, surviving to thriving, when I look at that scale and couples take a look at where they are, I mean, they probably know that they're just surviving. They probably already know that there's some place in between. But most of them, especially the ones that come in for counseling, come to the workshops and what have you, they want to go to that next level. And so one of the reasons why I this is so important for me to share is because well, maybe let me start off with something. Because some of you may just be seeing me for the first time. I don't know why I have this frog in my throat, so pardon me for that. Those of you who are meeting me for the first time, let me introduce myself. I'm Melva Johnson. I'm co-founder of the Johnson Relationship Institute for Couples and the co-author of Mining for Gold in Your Marriage. And the reason why I'm saying co-founder and co-author, we have a couple other books that are coming out. The reason why I want to make it clear that I'm co-founder and co-author, because I did not build this body of work over all these years all by myself. I built it with my beloved soulmate, late husband, Jesse. We worked a long, long time to put these keys together through all of our trainings and what we were doing in our personal life to build the long lasting life that we both enjoyed um, with each other and with our family, because that was really important to us. So it was also important for us to be clear on our purpose and to stay focused on that, which was to be of service with other couples, to support them to go to the next level. And so I was really blessed to be able to work with this man side by side for all of these years, from the I do through the in illness and in health to until death do us part. So I really had a blessed experience for a long, long time. And so when we were doing our work together, and I'm going to make this story short, when we were doing our work together, we had the opportunity to learn a lot of things. And one of the things that we paid a lot of attention to, because it came up in our work, was what we went in depth with in our Imago relationship training. That where we did use those tools in our therapy, working with couples, counseling, working with couples, workshops, and what have you. We really paid attention to those 3 stages that couples go through, naturally go through. You know, the romantic stage is the fun stage, is the easy stage, because that's when the best version of each partner shows up. And I usually say to couples that it's so easy because during that stage, it's like the brain releases a certain chemical. It's like um, the person being on natural drugs, where they're in this kind of trance, kind of good feeling kind of state, and so they can't help but show up as their best self. And so by the time that they come to us, we know that they're in stage 2. And why do we know that they're in stage 2? It's because they have something going on. They're having some kind of conflict. They're having some kind of difference of opinion, where not the best version of them shows up, but maybe the worst version of them shows up. Now, the worst version is it comes up during arguments. One person's attacking, criticizing, the other person's shutting down, withdrawing, giving the silent treatment. What couples do not know is that when that version of them shows up, that beneath the surface, there is a yearning to develop that part. It just means that there's an undeveloped part that's showing up in that moment, in that situation. Because, as Maya Angelou says, when we know better, we do better. So if we don't know how to do anything else but to show up and attack or withdraw, then that's what we're going to do. So the good news about the second stage is that is where the growth happens, so that the couple can progress to stage 3 of long-lasting love and a relationship that thrives. So Jesse and I knew that. And we also knew that if we were going to be credible, that we had to do this ourselves. We had to do the work ourselves. We had to do the individual work, and we had to implement it in our relationships. So that was our foundation, and that is the foundation that I focus on in terms of supporting couples. So far, I have shared two keys: shared goals and effective communication. And like I said earlier, everybody knows that they need that. The problem is they don't know how to implement it when things get sensitive, when things get a little rough. So that third key that I want to talk about is called conflict resolution. It's important to have that skill too. So what I know about couples who are in a thriving relationship is that they are enjoying the we factor. The we factor meaning they're a team. They're two independent people working together interdependently toward the bigger picture. So yes, they have differences of opinion and what have you, but they work things out. If they have differences of opinion and if they hurt each other's feelings, they know how to repair as fast as possible. They know how, on a day-to-day basis, to keep positive interactions and actions toward each other going. I call it, John Gottman and his wife, Julie Gottman, doctors Julie and John Gottman, came up with this term called the love bank. So they know how to make deposits every single day in their love bank. So if there is a difference of opinion or a conflict or a stressor in their life, then when there's a withdrawal, their whole relationship doesn't become bankrupt. So this series is contributing to supporting couples to have ideas about how to make more deposits into their love bank, the love relationship bank. So this time we're going to focus on conflict and conflict resolution. So when a couple is dealing with conflict, and I'm having a conversation with them, whether it's usually the first conversation, the interview, whether they're coming to a workshop or counseling, I'll ask them, is conflict working for you or is it working against you? So I like to give case studies, and I don't ever use anybody's real names because it's not appropriate. It's not ethical. So I'm going to call this couple John and Jane. I asked them, this couple. Now, John and Jane are a couple who's been married about 25 years. They're borderline empty nesters because they still have a teenager at home. And they have enjoyed a relationship of things going pretty well most of the time. However, when they had differences of opinion and there was conflict, then things didn't go so well between them. They became aware over time. I mean, 25 years is a long time. And they had the same argument over and over again. And they became aware of what was simmering beneath the surface of their discomfort with each other, even with all these other good things that were going on. Because if conflict is not resolved, then it lingers on and then it builds up. And so being aware of having these feelings of resentment, John was saying that he didn't feel respected. Jane was saying that she didn't feel understood. They started feeling more distant and more disconnected, and it kind of scared them. See, they didn't know how to talk about the sensitive areas. So when they had a difference of opinion, I mean, they did really well when they were talking about how to support their children to have full, successful lives. But they didn't know how to talk about the sensitive areas. And so the children were going to be gone, and it was going to be just the two of them. And those issues were still going to be there. They didn't know how to attack the problem. They were attacking each other when they had their differences. They knew they needed to change their approach, but they didn't know how. So before they took action to change their approach, they knew that they had to come up with a big why, a big reason for why they were going to do something different. Because these habits that all of us have in terms of how we function in any situation are habits that we developed and reinforced for our lifetime. So there has to be a big enough reason to change a habit. And they knew that they had bad habits. So they said, okay, so let's think about it. First, they thought about it on their own, and then they thought about it together. And so, so when they thought about it, when they shared it together, they came up with a lot of reasons why. So here's three. So one reason that they came up with is how much peace and harmony they would have if they would stop talking over each other and interrupting each other, and focus on what I was saying in the beginning, talking to each other in a way the other could hear, listen to each other in the other way that the other person feels heard. Now that is really important to do, and it's important to know, but following through on it is not as easy in the beginning. So that when they wanted to talk to each other, because sometimes when they wanted to share their feelings, the other person would judge them or criticize them. So they wanted to get through that. They wanted to change that. And then, bottom line is they really just wanted to get along better and live their happily ever after. That was their big reason. And so, so this is a couple that I recommended before they started doing the work that they take the marriage happiness quiz so they could find out right away where to pinpoint so that they could begin their plan to navigate from where they are to where they want to be in a way that would bridge the gap and implement the keys of a shared vision and goals, having a way to talk about what they needed to talk about and stay on track, and have effective conflict resolution skills. Now, the other part of their work is that they realized that it was important that they focused on more about what they were going to do individually to contribute to the change rather than just staying focused on the other person. And that leads me to what I was sharing last time about what Gandhi says, that when you want change in your life, it's important to be the change you want to see. So it was important for both John and Jane, as they were moving forward, to become the change they wanted to see. If they wanted to be, John wanted more respect, so he had to become more respectful. Jane wanted more understanding, so she wanted to be understood, so she needed to become more understanding. So to me, that is a way of becoming the love that you want to see. So they both decided they were going to do their, take responsibility to do their part. So they started following through on talking through conflict, working through conflict in a new way. Because as I see conflict, it can either be dissolved just by talking about it, or it can be resolved by some kind of behavior change. Or if number one and number two doesn't work, then it can be managed in a way that there is respect for each person in terms of approaching the problem. So over time, they worked the process. And it took them a while to move. They were like the in-between, they're just surviving and thriving. It took them a while to see progress, because when you're changing habits, it's like you have to be thoughtful about it. You have to be intentional about it. You have to do the same new thing over and over and over and over again. And so even though it wasn't easy, and sometimes they didn't even want to do it, they did it anyway. So what happened when they started seeing progress was that John commented was, "Whew," these were his actual words, "Whew, this was a lot of work, but it was worth it." And then Jane chimes in, "I agree." She had a big, big, big smile on her face. She said, "I'm feeling more understood. I really feel that John gets me now." And of course, John said, not of course, but John said, "And I am feeling more respected." So that's what happened for them to get them moving toward thriving and long-lasting love. Because 25 years, they had a lot more years to look forward to. And they really wanted to look forward to their happily ever after. So my question is, based on this example, what would both of you say is happening for you? If you looked at the survive to thrive scale, where would you say you are on conflict resolution, your conflict resolution skills? 1 meaning not at all, 10 meaning you've got it down pat. Where would you say you are? So wherever you are, is it where you want to be? If the answer is no, I'm inviting you to take the marriage happiness quiz. And the link is in the comment section. I'm inviting you to take the marriage happiness quiz, because there's something that you can do about it right away. Because you take the quiz, you look at your results, and then you can have a conversation about what the two of you want to do next, what you want your next step to be. I mean, just having the conversation about the results is effective communication. When you see the parts that you're really strong in, that's what you want to keep doing. You want to keep reinforcing those parts. The parts where you need improvement so you can stay on track toward thriving, those are your growth opportunities. And so what do you do with those areas? You create a plan to bridge the gap from where you are to where you want to be. So I'm inviting you to take the quiz and see where you are so you can make the plan and start implementing the three keys: your vision and shared goals, your effective communication, and your conflict resolution skills. So I would say, don't settle for a relationship that is just mediocre or just merely survives. That's not the reason why you came together. You came together for happily ever after. I'm inviting you to take that next step to be on track with that. Thank you for joining me for this 3-part series. And I'll be back next time with a whole different series, or maybe I'll expand on this one. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.